Welcome to the Community Voice. As you can see, I have very little voice. I am Fara Sachs. Joining me today is Katy Marr. She is the president and CEO of Neighbors for Neighbors. Katy and her four small but mighty team, they are really mighty, have provided over 4.3 million, that's a lot of zeros, of assistance to our community since 2020. That's right in the height of the pandemic. Wow. And this year marks their 30th year of helping the community of South Florida. So we welcome you and congratulations and all good things. And so happy to be with you, my former
Yeah,
night.
we're alumni buddies, Sunset High School grads, are each of us, and it's an honor to be serving our community all these years later too.
Absolutely. And you're a homegrown girl.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really from New Hampshire, but I've been in South Florida for pretty much the majority of my life. So,
And you've
yeah,
been with
that's fun.
Neighbors for many, many, many years.
Yeah, almost 10 years now, which is funny. I say like, oh, just 10 years, and I'm like, oh, that's actually a long time.
Yeah, it's more than most marriages,
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, especially this day and age. Yeah, but it's an honor to be a part of this community and have been around since Neighbors was became an idea. When Hurricane Andrew hit, um, and um, and to be able to to affect change in our community and be a part of where I live, and it's not just where I work, but it's you know the people that we're friends with and everything.
And it's very interesting because the way it began and the way your journey and the way you've evolved as in your role with Neighbors for Neighbors. I mean, you don't work somewhere and work up into the system and really, unless you really have a passion for it
Yeah.
and you've really grown in the job and Neighbors for Neighbors. I mean, for those that don't know, let's talk about the mission a little bit for what they do and how you provide services and help families throughout our South Florida community.
Well, Neighbors for Neighbors is a really unique organization. Our mission is to connect those in need with those who can help, and we do that through collaboration. We have a partnership with Channel 4, and we were started as a Hurricane Andrew relief effort back in 92. But what we did works so well, and we're very unique in that we don't serve any one particular cause. We're there to bolster the community, to help break down those silos and really connect everyone, whether it's a donor or a nonprofit that's in need of something, and bring awareness to all these great people doing great work. We don't provide any direct services, but we do bolster those who do. And so through that, we've been able to, I mean, for everything like our Adopt a Family program, which is 30 years running, we've been able to provide, holiday help for organizations. So we partner with other nonprofits. So we're non-competitive in that way. And so, but there's a lot of great people doing great work out there. They just don't have a voice. And so we're able to do that with our partnership at the television station, putting those things on the air and saying, hey, this is the need and this is how you can help with that. And we have a saying at Neighbors for Neighbors that helping feels good, and we really believe it and we live it. So it's an honor to be able to do that. And then a lot of people know us as a crisis organization when there's a hurricane or something like that, or Surfside, for example, stepping up in those times of dire need and really bringing the community together. I mean, just Surfside alone, we were able to. Now, granted, other organizations helped as well, but we were able to be there and provide mental health services for the folks that were affected by that. And so brand new organizations were built out of that, and we've been able to help them. And because those folks needed specialized help, this wasn't just going to a therapist; they needed trauma therapy. But then the first responders were affected too, so we were able to help with that.
So really it's like a boots on the ground
Yeah.
and you're really there, your hard hat really just to be able to help. How many people do you think you've really affected since its inception?
Oh my gosh. It's funny. We thought we can't really calculate because there's so many, and sometimes you just don't know the people, especially when the pandemic hit. You're doing drive-through food distributions. You can only estimate how many cars have come through. But even with that, what we try to do is be a little bit more creative, right? For example, yeah, okay, drive-through food distributions are big, right? But then we realized people couldn't get to those because they weren't working. Thus, they didn't have any money. They couldn't drive their car somewhere because they didn't have gas to do
Mm.
that.
Mm.
So then we started bringing food directly into the neighborhood. So this is where Neighbors is unique in that we're able to kind of bend the rules. We have a little bit more flexibility, and we have a lot of friends. Whether it's profit partners who are helping us fund these things, or even nonprofit partners. where we can say, okay, how can we work together to fill this odd need? And we aren't, we're not fixated on any one cause, so thus we can be flexible.
So how many partners do you have in the community
Oh
that
my
work with you?
goodness. I mean, just our adoptive family alone is 40 partners, but we work with everybody. There's nobody, quote unquote, off the table. So whatever it is, from, mental health organizations to organizations that they're providing direct services, we also kind of act like a little bit of a concierge. So if someone calls us and they say, I'm in need of this, and we kind of talk it out with them, because they can call 211, of course, whom we also work with both in Dade and Broward. But maybe they don't know when they call 211 how to work the system, so to speak, like what to ask for. So it's like, okay, well, there isn't funding for that particular need, but there is for this, and you're in need of that as well. That can free up and then get you what you need for that, kind of thing. So it's like helping them understand, because a lot of people don't know how all these great programs work and what they really need. And our goal really at the end of the day is, I want people to sustain themselves further than just that one time help. So
Mhm.
even if they get something from us one time, what is that long term need, and where can we get them connected? So connecting those in need with those who can help, it has many
Absolutely,
facets.
and you're really a stop guard. You really, really help
Yeah.
fill in those spaces for people, and it's an organization. How long has it been around?
30 years.
Oh, this was like in a routine. I was just trying to like warm up. 30 years, really? Why, Katie? Why is it 30 years? What are we celebrating this
30th
year?
anniversary, and I can't believe it. I mean, we've actually been celebrating for a year. You know how like those, they'll do that whole thing. So our anniversary technically was last year, but we're also honoring 30 members of our community, which was, believe it or not, narrowing it down to these 30 people was tough. But these are folks from the profit community, nonprofit community. Even Daniela Levine Cava will be honored. She's going to be presenting us with a proclamation that day. And I mean, without, that's the key. I mean, neighbors for neighbors, right? Plural. It takes a village, and our village is strong and amazing, and these are wonderful people that we get to collaborate with. And so, but we're having a big event, and but not like anybody else's events. I mean, we're neighbors for neighbors. We just don't do anything regular. So we're calling it the Carousel of Giving, and it's at the Carousel Club on April 13th, which is the Carousel Club. If you've never been, it's at Gulfstream. It is this really cool venue. You can see from the pictures, the bar in the middle is an actual carousel. And
So hopefully you don't drink too much and fall off the carousel.
yeah, no, you won't be riding the carousel. You can sit on bar stools, but the horses have been dismounted and they're on the wall. But it's really cool. But imagine a big giant networking event with entertainment from aerialists to and there'll be a special appearance. Um, and you'll see in a minute. But it's just going to be a ton of fun. In fact, I will be the ringmaster. Had to put on my hat for
She
that.
wears a lot of hats at the organization, and this is one of them. And Katie, what shall you be doing that evening over at Gulfstream?
Yeah, so I'll be the ringmaster of just a wonderful celebration honoring, and I promise no rubber chicken, no boring speeches. Where everybody's gone to those events. We just want to have a wonderful time and celebrate. And so I had to go all out. So
Do you have a whip? I want to know. Do you have
there
a
won't
whip?
be any whipping. I'm not. The horses will be running probably a different time, but yeah, no. But there will be an aerialist, fire breather, magician, carnival games.
And this is open to the public.
Yes, yes, it's open to the public. Tickets are $30. You can get them right on neighborsforneighbors.org, and we'll have auction items and a ton of fun, and so I'm excited about it. So
I love that hat. That's
yeah,
so cute. You can just leave it on
you
the rest
get
of the interview.
everything you
Yeah,
need
look at that.
online.
Look at that. You're just so in
There'll be a
style.
whole costume with it too. But I
Notice how she's wearing red, so that's really scary too.
yeah, well, it's my signature color.
Let's go back to the graphic of just some of the honorees that
Sure.
are going to be part of that. Andres, can you put that back up? Just so we can see, like, you tell me where are some of these people from?
Oh
What is
gosh,
their
these are great
background?
people. I
Yeah.
mean, both from Dade and Broward. I mean, partners from Channel 4. We've got folks from, from our board members and community partners. Like I said, Danielle Levine Cava. You've got folks from CBS4, T-Mobile. Our founder, Nellie Rubio. Our previous executive director, Lynn Cameron, will be coming. She's retired. Folks will know Ron Book, who's the chair of the Miami-Dade Homeless Trust, who's also a board member of ours. And so many people. Pat Morris, who's also been a big fixture of our community, but now works in the mayor's office, and so many others. And it's just you know without them we couldn't do what we do, and it's just so great to have them all in one room. And
It's a 6 to 9 at night at the
yep,
Gulf Stream and the
yep,
carousel. What a great theme, and a carousel room. Huh, I
yeah,
wonder
yeah.
where that came from.
Yeah, well,
But I'm
it's
bump.
brand new venue. If you've never been, this place is really cool. It's owned by the folks who do the wharf, so it kind of has that cool vibe to it. It's a big open air space, but it's all covered, and so it'll be nice and coolish. Not it's not air conditioned, but we were going to have it earlier, but then after Hurricane Ian hit our friends across the state, we of course right into hurricane relief efforts, so we moved our event, and
And it's April 13th.
April 13th. So just a few days, 10 days away now.
And look how confident and how comfortable and suavecito you
Yeah, well,
are.
I can't get, too nervous. I've got a great team, and they're working to do everything. So, I just go, okay, is everybody good?
And there's 4 of you, only 4 of you.
Yeah, five technically, including myself. And
5 technically, 4 others.
yeah, and so we're a small but mighty team, and but very passionate, and they're amazing. Doug, Carolina, Alexa, and Gabrielle. Gabriella, and she just joined us. She's our the newest addition to our team, and but just amazing. And honestly, I mean, no lie, I would say this to their face. I would say it behind their back. I literally cannot do it without them. So, it takes a village, no lie, and so I may be, president and CEO, but I'm nothing without them.
Well, hello. Well, shout out to them right
Yeah,
now.
hi.
Let's get Neighbors for Neighbors. I mean, the numbers are staggering. Has provided over $4.3 million in support since 2020.
Yeah.
Those some awesome, awesome partners in the community. We have that graphic out now too.
This has been, amazing to me. I mean, they say you have to toot your own horn, so I'm going to do that. Typically, we would do about $800,000 a year in support to the community. But since I came on as CEO, I've been working to just really make sure that we're connected and getting out there and finding where those needs are. Now, COVID, of course, helps boost those numbers, and sadly, Surfside as well. But
$1.6 million of relief for the impacts of COVID
and the
since
impressive thing about
2020.
that was only $98,000 in cash. The rest of that is in kind. So that shows the power of Neighbors for Neighbors, is that we're able to take these in kind donations and boost, whether it's getting free, goods, food, and things like that. We were supplying gift cards, hot meals. We partnered with everybody that we could to make sure that those who were affected, the most, you know, impactedly by COVID, that they were getting the things that they needed. Because, okay, great, you got some groceries, but get some hot meals on their table so they didn't have to cook. Take that stress off them. Get them gift cards so they could go to the grocery store and get other things that weren't supplied, and things like that. And people are still affected by COVID now. I mean, now we're seeing, I just went to the grocery store yesterday, and the astronomical cost of just buying, these staple items. And I thought, I'm fortunate in that I have a job, but there are many out there who don't. So we're now focusing our efforts on, how do we help people with affordable housing? How do we make people understand what that means? I mean, it's funny when you say that. I mean, technically, I could not buy the house I live in right now if I were to buy it today. Thank God I bought it years ago. But that's what we're talking about, is that it's impossible to live here.
And people lose track of that. We lose track of what's really going on in other people's homes as
Right.
well. And you mentioned Surfside. What was some of the challenges that you needed at that time, and moving forward, what does Surfside need now? Because it's still, it might be out of the media, but the
Right.
families
Well, the
and
families
those
are,
that are
yeah,
touching them, the law enforcement, the chaplains that were involved with all of that,
yeah.
and the boots on the ground. What do they need?
Gosh, there were
How people
so
can,
many
and what are
things.
you doing as an organization maybe that help them along now?
Yeah. Well, we initially we were trying to fill those needs because the Miami Foundation, of course, did some amazing work as well, and helping try to get these people back on their feet again. Obviously the ones who perished in the collapse, they're gone, but their families were affected. And so this is a very unique thing. This has literally never happened on US soil except for that building collapse at the federal building. But this wasn't people in their homes. This is unprecedented. So this is under other than times of war, if a building were to collapse because it was bombed or
Mhm.
something, but that's totally different. And then you also had all the first responders because all the rubble was taken to a secondary site and sifted through. And so you had these folks who were diligently, day after day, in the heat of the rain and whatever, everything, going through the rubble. And that was a very traumatic experience for everyone involved, whether you've lost someone, whether you survived. We actually have also teamed up with Neil Handler, who started Phoenix
Phoenix
Life.
Life. Yeah, I
Yes,
know
Phoenix Life.
him.
So
Yes.
he and I have become kind of work besties, and his organization is amazing in that providing trauma relief, but not just to those who went through it. And this spawned out of helping his own son,
His son was one of one
the
of
only, the
the
only,
only survivor found alive
correct.
in the rubble
Yeah,
after Surfside. His
yeah.
mother passed.
Yes, she was
Stacy.
initially pulled out of the rubble and sadly, succumbed to her injuries. But Jonah was struggling. He had been through traditional therapies and it wasn't helping. And they were able to find this very specialized therapy. And now, with the funding that we were able to provide, or being able to provide it, and it's this neurotrauma therapy that's amazing. I've actually, I took one session, which was just incredible. You get to actually even hear your own brain waves translated through music, which was really, really cool. But it's not just that, because what it does is it helps retrain those pathways and make it so that you don't have the traumatic response. You're not going to forget what happened, but at least it won't cause you the anxieties and the debilitating response that it was.
So what he's done in his Phoenix project is to really own trauma.
Right.
What
And yeah,
and how we move forward, and it's really his passion project. I know he's
yeah.
doing a golf tournament.
Yeah, he did a golf tournament and he's got his gala coming up, and so we'll be a part of that. And but also he's providing mental health services to first responders. That's one of his other goals, is because he realized that those first responders went through, because what was very hard for them was being on top of this pile and knowing that there were people probably alive under and not being able to get to them. And this is very similarly happening, or it did happen in Turkey. So we were able, and in Ukraine. So we were able, through our partnership with Phoenix Life Project, to provide some direct connections to helping those first responders after they came off the front lines. Because, war is, you know, sadly we can't stop war, but we can at least help those who are battling it. And then, with Turkey, to talk about that, we've been working with the Global Empowerment Mission, which was right here in Doral, an amazing worldwide organization providing relief services. So, but it's hard to believe that they're right in our backyard, and they're helping the entire world. They've actually set up permanent um, digs, so to speak, in Poland to help with Ukraine, and now they're in Turkey.
Amazing.
And but it all comes right out of here, South Florida. So we're a really powerful community.
Not only is your team small and mighty, but so is
Yeah, so
all
of
the
our
good.
partnerships.
Yes.
Yeah, and we're very, because that was the best thing. When Hurricane Ian hit, for example, we were able to connect with Global Empowerment Mission, and immediately, as soon as the winds died down, trucks were being sent over.
I know you have a video. Let's
Yeah.
talk, let's run the video, and it's from Andrew to today, and we can just talk a little bit about what we're looking at and all the wonderful things that Neighbors for Neighbors does for its community,
Yeah.
with its community.
One of the things we're doing now is, since COVID, we realized that many communities just don't have access to the fresh foods and that they need. These types of items are super expensive. So we have a program called the Food Fight, which we team up with Ashley O from 104.3 The Shark. She just moved to the mornings, so listen to her. And this, look at these groceries, just absolutely amazing. And these families are getting so much. For basically $3,000, they can feed about 250 families. And then, of course, our Adopt a Family for the Holidays program, which is 30 years running, and we team up with folks like the Miami Marlins. They just kicked off their opening season with the Mets just the other day. But this is a one-on-one program. You get to meet the families you serve, and look at this. I mean, shoes alone are super expensive for families. So, and in our back to school programs, we've been doing that for years. We've been able to supply just last year alone 17,000 families with backpacks, uniforms, and shoes. And this is a backpack filled with supplies, age appropriate for their students. And then other things would go to schools. This, we did this kind of out of COVID, but Riverside Elementary right here, these families, they were getting toys and food and gift cards, and I mean, just having the best time.
I remember that game,
Yeah.
Operation.
Yeah.
Monopoly, the game that
Yeah,
never
just
ended.
so much fun. But what's the best is, even Tiago's Tacos, a local taco store, came out and gave them fresh tacos. So they had lunch, they got bag groceries, they got toys, they got gift cards, and working with the kids from branches here in Miami-Dade. They sent letters to the first responders in Ukraine. So when we went and sent those first responder mental health team over there, they also got these letters and cards. And so how great was this? And so we're trying to, I mean, we're not just a local organization, we're helping the globe. Migrant families down in that are being served by Miami-Dade Public Schools. And they're not really migrant families here in Miami because we grow 24/7, 365. So these families actually live and they're part of our community and are not leaving. And so supporting them, and same thing, giving them supplies, giving them gift cards, helping boost their families. More back to school stuff. I mean, look at these families lined up.
And they just are so happy.
Yeah. And this is a huge need. I mean, especially the shoes. Now we're going to be providing underwear as well. So uniform, shoes, and underwear. And these are essential items for these families. And kids, they grow out of their shoes in about 2 minutes. So for the past 30 years, we've done this and so much more. And we're just honored to be, able to continue to do that. But of course, we're nonprofits, so of course we do that with funds. And
So how do people get involved? If Neighbors for Neighbors.
Yep.
.org.
Correct. That's our website. And donate, and we work with for volunteering. We're working with Hands On Miami and Hands On Broward. So they're our volunteer hub. So again, teaming up with another nonprofit because they are the experts in that. And but if you have an idea of a way to help, because it's not just your money and your time, but maybe you've got an idea, maybe you know of something, and that we can connect, and so we want to hear about it too. So you can reach us on our website as well.
And it's interesting, you had the community, the residents, you had schools, you bring it all together as an organization. More power to you and all that you do, and with such love and devotion. Bravo, bravo,
Thank you,
bravo.
thank you. No, it's an honor, and I joke that I was kind of meant to do this, and I really feel like I was.
Sunset High taught
Yeah.
you well.
Yeah, and and I didn't know at the time when I worked in television prior, and so that's why everything we do is on television. But that just helps boost our impact. But it's really an honor to be able to do what we do, and be just such an integral part of the community, and make affect change, and work together with so many people.
Absolutely. And the future, what's the future for Neighbors for Neighbors?
Golly. Well, hopefully, that's the hope.
Golly!
The hope is to basically sustain ourselves so that we can be there. That's the real goal. We want to not have to necessarily raise funds when a storm happens, but have them ready and be there, in advance, so we can immediately respond instead of hoping that we can get the money to respond. And so we're working really, really hard. I mean, the organization's doing a lot of things, boosting our board. We want to be as good as we are on the outside and as we are on the inside, and just and being as flexible, and being able to be there whenever that crisis happens, because it could be an individual crisis or it could be a big crisis.
Absolutely.
Organizations like the Miami Foundation and Global Empowerment Mission are already, and we're part of that too, is being ready when a hurricane, and I say when because there's no doubt we will have another storm. God willing, it won't be an Andrew, but if it does, we are ready, and they've got supplies ready. And so trying to be resilient and be ready for a disaster, as opposed to so we can respond immediately as opposed to after, what do we do? But then being flexible.
Absolutely. And then you also have Food Fight. Food Fight is one of your other projects,
Yeah.
and you've teamed up with a local radio station.
Right. So Ashley O is our board member, and this is a passion project of hers as well. But the goal is to work with local pantries, and provide food directly to those who need it, and getting it, because that we kind of learned this through COVID. Again, there's food banks, but let's get it to where they need it. So these are happening like right in the schools where they live. So they walk their kids to school, and they can pick them up after, and then bring home groceries. And I mean, this is a huge thing, not only nutritionally, but also financially. These families are struggling, and these are families who are working really, really hard. And so we want to be able to bolster that. And we're giving them gift cards too, as well, because, there's things that they just can't, great, an apple helps, but I still need toothpaste,
Absolutely,
that kind of a
absolutely.
thing. So it's a lot of different ways to help.
You're a mother.
Yes, I'm a mother, and she's 14.
Lucky you. That's such a great age.
Yeah, I'm surviving. No,
No,
but
you'll be okay.
yeah,
This is like, she's probably going to be much better as she.
yeah, no, she's incredible. I mean, it's very interesting, especially, having a daughter. So there's that. But I see how she's just got this really great moral compass, and
I wonder where
she's,
she learned that from, Mom.
yeah, hopefully,
Does she
rubbing
involve?
up a little.
Yeah, you are. Does she go with you to events and
Sometimes,
see what you're doing and the
yeah.
magic? I remember during COVID, you and I have spoken. I remember her peeking in. Mom, I finished my assignment. Now what do I do?
Yeah, oh yeah, that was
And
tough.
then we were on Zoom. I remember that. That was during when we were all in lockdown. I was like, and you were so patient with her, and you told her, and she was like very mature, and it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
So God
yeah.
bless her.
Yeah, because now she's in 8th grade, and that was 5th grade. Amazing she survived.
Oh,
But
amazing
yeah,
that you survived,
yeah,
right?
yeah, no, and that was hard for a lot of families. We did a lot during that time as well. I mean, there were communities, like one, for example, that's served by Hialeah Gardens Elementary, that didn't even have internet. So we were able to help them get internet into that community, because the kids couldn't even be online. They got laptops from the schools, but they're basically dead in the water, and not able to get online to do school. And it's there's so many different things that our community struggles with. A lot of times people don't realize, especially now, affordable housing is really the biggest problem that our community is facing. There's many people that are working out there, and they just can't afford to live in our community. And these are the people that work at your grocery store, that are serving you at the restaurant, that's the nurse that helped you at the doctor's office.
So be kind
Be
and,
kind.
and be thankful.
Yeah.
And thank them for doing their job.
Yeah, and then understand too why, when the cost increases, but what that's really meaning.
Absolutely. So last question. What is Katy Marr's legacy?
Gosh, I hope that my legacy is that Neighbors for Neighbors will forever be, this rock in our community that people can trust, and know that we do everything we can to be amazing stewards, not only of your donations, but your time, and we hear you, and we try to do our best. I mean, I wish I could fix every problem, but we try to make the biggest impact possible, and we do that together, and that we'll be able to continue to do that.
And they can help by going on your website, neighborsforneighbors.org, and go to Carousel. You get to put your hat on. Dun,
Oh,
da, da,
yeah.
da, da, da.
Come join us for the party of the century, or at least the last 30 years, hopefully.
30 years in the making, 30 people that you're honoring, and it has been an honor to be with you. And you are, what are you, a master?
I'm the what am I? Oh,
Master-
ringmaster. The
ringmaster?
ringmaster.
We're both like,
There's no animals though. I mean, except for the party animals.
Katy Marr, always wonderful. Thank you so much for being my guest, and go out and enjoy and have fun at this wonderful event happening at Gulfstream April 13th from 6 to 9 p.m. Tickets and more information on every opportunity that you can get involved with, you can be a part of as a nonprofit profit organization, and as a community that might need their services. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining. I'm Fara Sachs, and this has been the Community Voice. Have a great day. Take care of yourselves and each other.